Hi, I'm Windy from Windy's Kitchen. In this video, I'll be showing you how to make my apple and oats sourdough sandwich loaf. Full recipe and details are available on my blog. You can find the link in the description below. For this, we'll be using a mix of bread flour and whole grain flour. Alternatively, you can use a high extraction flour. You'll also need an apple, mature sourdough starter, olive oil, some rolled oats, and some water to cook the oats with, butter, and some good quality honey. You can skip the honey if you don't like your bread too sweet, and some more water at room temperature. You'll also need some salt, which is not shown here. Mix oats and the water and cook in a microwave or on stove top to porridge consistency. Then add your honey and butter onto the hot cooked porridge and mix thoroughly to incorporate. And set this aside. Wash the apple thoroughly and then grate. Leave the skin on as it contains a lot of nutrients. Let's make the dough now. First up, dissolve the starter in the water. And then add it straight into the flour and mix using a spatula or a wooden spoon. If the dough is too dry, add a tablespoon of water at a time and then continue to mix. Use your hands to finish off mixing. That way it's easier to tell if all the flour is hydrated. Cover this dough and let it sit for about an hour. Make sure the oats, apples and salt are all set to go so you wouldn't miss anything. After the 1 hour rest, place the dough in a bowl of a stand mixer. Add the grated apples, oats and salt and start mixing. Start mixing on low speed, just to bring everything together. Scrape the bowl frequently to encourage mixing. Slowly increase the speed to medium and then continue to mix for about 2 to 3 minutes. Towards the end of the mixing, sprinkle a little flour around the edge of the bowl to help release the sticky dough from the walls. Once thoroughly mixed, bring the dough out onto a table and finish off kneading by hand. Make sure to wet your palms and either use slap and fold or stretch and fold to further knead the dough. Keep kneading until the dough becomes fairly smooth, like this. Now place this dough in a lightly greased bowl, cover and leave to bulk for about 2 to 2.5 hours. During the bulk fermentation, we are going to perform 3 coil folds at 45-minute interval. After the 45 minutes interval, fold the dough. Cover and leave to rest for another 45 minutes and then perform the second coil fold. Cover and leave to rest for another 45 minutes. Fold the dough for one last time. If you want to do a same day bake, skip the retardation. Cover the dough and continue to bulk for another 2 to 3 hours and move on to shaping. To retard the dough, cover tightly and refrigerate for several hours. On the next day, bring the dough out and leave at room temperature for about 10 hours. Let's now move on to shaping. Flour your bench and tip the dough over. Slightly flatten the dough with your palms and shape into a rectangle. And then shape into a sandwich loaf, like this. Grease a regular loaf pan. A 9x5 pan is a good option. My pan is slightly smaller. You can decorate the top with rolled oats, or you can leave it plain and maybe egg wash later when you bake. Now place this loaf in the greased pan. Cover and leave in a warm place to proof. This final proof may take longer than you expect, depending on the room temperature. Always do a poke test to ensure the loaf is fully proofed. Towards the end of the final proof, preheat the oven. This is how the fully proofed loaf should look like. Now bake this loaf in the preheated oven. For specific baking instructions, please see the blog post. Once the bread is fully baked, remove from the oven and demold as quickly as possible. Leaving the loaf in the pan will make the sides go soggy. Cool the bread on a wire rack. As it cools down, a lot of moisture will evaporate and the loaf will be a lot more sturdy and easier to slice. Once fully cooled down, slice using a serrated knife. This bread is great for sandwiches and toasts. I hope you enjoyed this video. For more delicious recipes, head over to my blog, myloveofbaking.com.